This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our Farming Simulator 22 map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at the Old Stream Farm expansion. But before that, this video is brought to you by CBW Farms LLC and Joe Six-Pack American. Thank you for being farm barons. So Black Sheep Modding is back with an expansion to the much-loved Old Stream Farm. Now, this map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now, don't let the map size fool you, because it is going to require a lot more than 286 megabytes to download and store this map. Because, well, there are 3 required mods, and with those 3 required mods, you're looking at a total of 495 megabytes of storage for the map and the mods included. Let me read you the description. Welcome to Old Stream Farm expansion. Famous farm of the 70s is back with an expanded version for even more farmland and more fun. Set in a fictitious European-style countryside, the area is crisscrossed by rivers that meander between the southern plains and the northern hills. As you take the many roads of your fields, you can visit 4 different villages. On this map, you will find 135 arable fields and meadows, 11 forest plots, 4 building plots, 3 farm areas, a dealership, 4 production areas, a livestock market, sales for all of your products, and 3 railroad silos to sell your crops. Now, as far as the required mods go, we have the agricultural fair, old storage shed, and the 60 buildings pack by Black Sheep Modding. And that is the building pack. Well, it's actually bigger than the map itself. So that is where a fair bit of the required disk space is going to land. Let's go ahead and load on in. In addition to those required mods, we are going to use the mods we typically use when we look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, food calculator, precision farming, and straw harvest. I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the main farm is built out exactly how you see it here in the preview image. The only exception is you do not have any starting machinery. Of course, you also do not own any land. Now, with respect to low-end systems, if you happen to load this map up with a system that is maybe on the lower end, I think you're going to find that this map is going to actually play remarkably well. I was able to get a solid 60 frames per second anywhere I went on the map with the system that I use to validate low-end systems, and that system has integrated AMD graphics. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA, because this is a much expanded map. Now, I am going to go ahead and overlay right now the original Old Stream Farms for Farm Sim 22 PDA, and what you're going to see is that if we kind of follow and trace this line around for this railroad track, and then this line that's running diagonal is a large interstate road or a large main artery road. That is basically going to be the perimeter of the original Old Streams farm. So we have a good chunk over here to the northwest, a good chunk then also to the northeast, all along the east side, and all along the bottom southern aspect of this map. Now, with respect to our crops, we do have all the standard crops available to us in FS22. In addition, we do have alfalfa as an added crop for this map itself. And if you happen to have the premium expansion, well, then we have red beets, carrots, and parsnips. If we take a look at our farmland overview screen, you're going to see that we start up by owning farmland ID 2, 3, and then also farmland 1. Farmland 1 is basically going to be the typically unbuyable land. It's going to be the roads, it's going to be the waterways, and it's going to be all throughout the new expanded farm. It's also going to be the little town areas as well. Our main farm is going to start out here at farmland ID 2. In any alternate game mode, we can buy this for $232,000. As far as other farms we're going to find on this map, well, we have a cow pasture up here at farmland ID 20. That's going to be purchasable for $130,000. We have a horse farm at farmland ID 74. That can be bought for $62,000. We also then have a chicken farm in the new expanded part down here at farmland ID 146. That can be bought for $102,000. In addition, we have a buildable zone right south of that in farmland ID 144 for $13,000. In addition, we do have a sheep pasture located farmland ID 34. That can be bought for $87,576. We have an arable farm located at farmland ID 93 in the northwest expansion. That can be bought for $62,000. We also have a buildable plot, or an arable farm, I'll say, here at farmland ID 9, kind of in town. Now, 9 and the horse farm are not going to be sellable. But all the other farms, we can completely sell things. And this is kind of a little bonus farm. It's not really a farmhouse, nor is 74, the horse farm, really having a farmhouse, but they are usable farm buildings if you do go and buy the land. As far as other buildable plots, we have a buildable plot up here at farmland ID 24. That can be bought for $81,912. Farmland ID 70. That can be bought for $180,000. Farmland ID 86. That can be bought for $25,000. And we already talked about farmland ID 144 down here in the southeast corner. This map does have a biogas plant that is going to be located here at farmland ID 75. And that can be bought for $0 of land, but you will have to purchase the BGA itself. With respect to the farmland lease screen, this is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, then lastly, how much is this farmland going to cost us. We can then go and cross-reference this with our field calculator screen, and the field calculator screen is going to show us the exact sizes of each particular field. As we can see, for the most part, our field numbers and farmland ID numbers are lining up one for one. Here we have our field calculator screen. Again, this is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. I don't really know why we have field size 0 showing up here in this list. It looks like we basically have every viable farmland also showing up as a field, even if it doesn't actually have a field in it, which is rather interesting and unique. Now, this map is making use of a custom soil map. So let's go ahead and see how that soil map is being applied to these fields. Quite an interesting soil map indeed. To the expanded northwest section, we've got a good bit of silty clay and sandy loam. Right south of the main starting farm, we've got a mix of loamy sand, sandy loam, and silty clay. To the west, we've got a good bit of loam being intermixed with a little bit of the other various soil types. And then down here to the southwest, we have a fair bit of loam, sandy loam, and loamy sand. With respect to our crop counter, we do have what appears to be a fairly standard crop counter for FS22. In addition, we do have our growth schedule here listed for alfalfa, where we can pretty much harvest alfalfa year round, and we can plant it from March through November. With respect to our prices screen, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game crops that are once again available to us here in FS22, in addition to the animal outputs of eggs, wool, and milk, and our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we continue down through all of our base game production items, we once again do indeed have the ability to sell each and every base game production item as well. It is always something that is very, very nice to see. With respect to bulk lime, we do have the ability to sell lime. Hint, hint, there's going to be lime production later on, but we do not have the ability to buy bulk lime. With respect to our stones, we also do indeed have multiple places to sell our stones. You can see we can take our alfalfa to the agricultural fair. We wish to sell that, as well as our alfalfa hay. Now, if you happen to have the farm production pack, I do want to let you know that you do indeed have the ability to sell at multiple sell points your washed root crops. And the trend continues down through all of the platinum expansion production items, because we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our platinum expansion production items at either the agricultural fair or the farmer's market. And with respect to the premium expansion, production items and crops, we also do have the ability to sell those as well. If you are playing with pumps and hoses, we do have the ability of getting rid of your separated manure. And with respect to additional field types above and beyond our alfalfa and our alfalfa hay, we have available lettuce red, melons, pallets, apple juice, apple, wooden climbing frame tower, yogurt with sugar, fruit yogurt, and then we have bagels, we have melon tart, apple tart. Now, some of these productions are included with the 60 building pack that is from Black Sheep Modding, and some of these are also built into the map. With respect to our straw harvest, we do have the ability to sell our hay and straw pellets. We also have French fries on this map, and of course, our premium crops. With respect to our starting fleet, we start out with a modest list of starting machinery. It is all owned, none of it is leased. We do have multiple cow pastures on this map. We have a sheep barn, chicken coop, cow barn with meadow, and a pigsty. Now, I have not gone ahead and purchased any additional animals or any additional land at this point in time. But you can see we do have 4 animal areas listed. We start out by having contracts available. We start out owning the small vegetable garden that is here at the starting farm. And here we can make our tomatoes, strawberries, lettuce, red lettuce, and melons. This map also has 100 collectibles, but do not think that these 100 collectibles are Elm Creek collectibles. These are 100% custom collectibles. And I will tell you that, well, some of these collectibles are very, 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 I don't know how many times I can say very without just over stressing it. They're extremely well hidden. Extremely well hidden. In fact, I think a few of these are basically like antiques or things that you would really never think would be a collectible. Like that. I'm going to give you 2 more hints. Or like this. And, you know, you see this apple? Yeah, it's a collectible. There's also strawberries on the ground. Yeah. So, good luck. There's 100 of those. All right, with respect to our starting fleet, we have the Fendt Fabarts 511C small tractor. We've got the John Deere 7810 medium tractor and the Dutzfar Topliner 4090H harvester. With that harvester, we have the Topliner 4090H header and our header trailer. We have a Schaefer 2630 front loader. We have our 2017 pickup truck. We have the Karot 140 TD trailer. We also then have the Servo 25 plow, as well as the EG Rabe 39 cultivator. We have the Nordstein HK 25 NS 3030 seeder and power harrow combination. For our front loader, we have the universal bucket, and then we wrap it all up with a 900 and 600 kilogram front weight. With respect to mods and DLCs, well, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements, but of course the 60s building pack does, and that is a pile of pallets that you can buy at the shop. Of course, we have our starting farm here, and anyone that has played Old Stream Farms knows what to expect with respect to this starting farm, but we're just going to go ahead and run through this while we're at it. We have our workshop trigger located right here. Inside our farmhouse, we are going to find our sleep trigger. We have our wardrobe there, and our sleep trigger located right here. We have our chicken coop, where we're going to have 150 total chickens. our eggs are going to spawn here. And we have our food trough located right there. As far as our cows go, we have our cow pasture located right here. And we have 150 cows available to us. We have our manure heap, which is actually inside of here. And then we can store manure here as well. We have our milk trigger. And here we're going to have our food and straw triggers. And we have our slurry point here around the back. We do have one 3-sided silage bunker located right here. And if we continue around the back, we've got another pair of 3-sided silage bunkers here and here. We can make our way up and around. And this is nice because we have the ability to back up and dump into our bunkers should we wish to do that ourselves. We've got a little old shed up here. And then a little bit of a building site where we can expand our operations. Coming back down to the main level of the farm. We got some more storage buildings here for vehicles and implements. Right across from our horse or cow area. Sorry, we have the pigsty. So we have our food trough for our pigs. We can hold 60 pigs in total here. Our manure is going to be in here. That's where we're going to basically collect our manure. And then our slurry pull-out point is right there. We have our farm silo, dump, and fill point. We do have a bale storage building located right here. It's going to store 550 bales or pallets. We're making our way over here to the sheep pen. And we have room for 100 sheep. We're going to have our food trough, and our wool is going to spawn right there. Another entry to our farm. And our small garden is located right here. We have our activation icon. We have our pallet spawn point. We have our dump point for our inputs, as well as our water point. And now we're basically right back to where we started. And that is the quick rundown of the Old Stream Farm starting farm location. Very, very similar to just about anyone who has played nearly any iteration of Old Stream Farm. I know this map goes back as far as Farm Sim 15. It might go back even further. But let's just pretend it goes back to Farm Sim 15. We've had it in 15, 17, 19, 22, twice. And I believe we may have had it twice in 19. I think it's a pretty good indicator. We're going to get this map in Farm Sim 25 as well. And I can't wait to see how it looks with all the new refinements. I went ahead and acquired all of the production. So let's do a little bit of a production rundown. As I said, we start out with the small vegetable garden. That's going to require water and straw. And that is then going to produce tomatoes, strawberries, lettuce, red lettuce, or melons. We have a lime production facility, which is going to require stones and output lime. So 2,000 stones is going to give you 6,000 lime. So miracle of expansion right there. We have the fairly standard base game at BGA going on here with our silage, slurry manure, and sugar beet cut, then providing us energy, methane, and digestate. We have a sawmill. It's going to give us planks and wood chips. We have multiple dairies on this map. One that's going to require milk and make butter and cheese. And then we have multiple bakeries as well. This particular bakery is going to make bread and cakes. Fairly standard recipe going on there. We have our carpentry, which is going to take wood and planks and make furniture and wood chips. We have a grain mill, which is going to make flour, our grape processor, our spinnery, our tailor. We have a sugar mill, and then we have a country bakery. And the country bakery is going to make bread, melon tart, cakes, apple tarts, and bagels. Then we have a secondary dairy that's just going to require milk and sugar. It's going to make butter, cheese, chocolate, and yogurt with sugar. And then lastly, we have pre-placed on this map a fries factory, which is going to require sunflower oil and potatoes. Now, some of the keen-eyed among you may have noticed we do not have an oil factory on this map. So yes, indeed, if you do want to make fries, you will need to buy land and put your own oil mill down in order to make sunflower oil to then be able to make your French fries. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at build mode, because this map does have some things, and of course we do have that absolutely massive, large 60 building pack also that is included. So we're just going to kind of skip over this 60s building pack, at least here for our sheds. And you see we do have old storage shed as well. Silo, we have old stream farm expansion. Extensions, containers, tools, and farmhouses. Now under production, what I want to show you is that under the 60s building pack, we do have some custom production. And under that custom production, we have a dairy. We have then our fruit and oil press, one way to get our sunflower oil. We have our dairy, another dairy. So we have two of those. We have another second oil press. We have our sawmill, and this is where we're getting our playground equipment and our pallets. We have our country bakery. We do have then also our line production. Now we can put another one down here if we should so wish. And our fry factory. With respect to sell points, we do have a placeable sell point. We can put down 4 of those additional things, but you don't need to worry about that because the agricultural fair, it pretty much accepts everything already. We do have multiple greenhouses that are again a part of that 60s production pack. With respect to our ground textures, we do have a fairly standard listing of ground textures, and we do have our plants here with one custom plant in short grass. Now, I have gone ahead and purchased the additional animal pastures as well as farmlands. So as we do our kind of aerial tour of the map itself, we will have access to those farms. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at those farms now. We're up here at the cow pasture in farmland 20, and we can sell the cow pasture. If we do sell the cow pasture, our triggers will go away, but the overall land and the fencing will remain. We have the ability to put 200 cows in here. And we have our water trough and our food trough located right here. It is right across the street from one of our production points that we can buy land for. And that is right here at Farmland ID 24 as well. Our starting farm is just over the tree line over there. And here we have our horse farm at Farmland ID 74. Now, this farm does not have a farmhouse. It does have a horse pasture. We have 16 total horses available here. We have our food trough located right there. And that is this area. Now, nothing here is sellable. Everything here is permanently a part of the map. And if you do want to make this your farmland area, you will need to supply your own sleep trigger. Here we have the chicken farm at Farmland ID 146. We do have a sleep trigger located here. This is a very familiar farmhouse structure. You may remember it from the starting farm location. So therefore, our triggers should be fairly easy to locate. We have our sleep trigger located right there. And our wardrobe trigger right there. As far as our chicken coop goes, we have a large chicken coop located right here. We're going to have our dump point for our food. Our eggs are going to spawn out right here. And then we're going to be able to buy 2,000 chickens. 2,000. Kind of a neat little facility. And then right across the street from that, we do have a buildable site located down here at Farmland ID 144. Here we have sheep pasture located at Farmland ID 34. Right now, the sheep pasture is currently in seeded grass. We can hold 150 sheep in total here. And we have our food point and our wool spawn point there as well. We can sell our sheep pasture, and if we do, all of these triggers will go away, but we still will have access to this farmland. Then the last farm we're going to look at here is what I'm calling the arable farm, which is in the northwest expansion, and it is going to be this area right here. So we've got a fairly large area in grass and gravel that we can further build on this. You do, of course, have to buy the land in order to be able to use these buildings, of which I've already gone and done so. Then we have our farmhouse, which is located right here. And inside the farmhouse, well, we have our wardrobe trigger. And we have then our sleep trigger. Now, with respect to the farms being customizable, this farm we can sell everything at. The chicken farm, which we just took a look at, we also can sell everything at. And the main starting farm, we can sell everything at. So of the 3 main farms that the description talks about, we can completely sell everything. Now, with respect to what I'm calling the bonus farms, at Farmland ID 9, and the horse area is located right here, and Farmland ID 9 is located right there. So let's just jump across the bakery. This is what I'm calling a bonus farm. So we do have usable buildings here with operable sheds, no sleep trigger, but this area is affixed. It is permanently a part of the map. We cannot sell it, but it does have some usable buildings, so I'm just kind of calling it a bonus arable farm, if you will. And then across the way over here, we have the horse area. And we're kind of calling that a farm because it does have the horse pasture, but it is permanent. So with respect to farms being customizable, the farms being sellable, we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point there because we do have 2 distinct areas that we cannot sell. But everything here at the starting farm is completely and totally sellable. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our animal food overview and just take a look and see, because we do have alfalfa and alfalfa hay that have been added as animal food types as well. So for our cows, we can feed total mixed rations for 100% food health. And we can feed hay or grass for 80% food health. And we can feed alfalfa or alfalfa hay for 90% food health. Sheep have also had alfalfa hay and alfalfa added as food sources. Horses as well have alfalfa hay added. And chickens, well, chickens have lettuce and red lettuce also added as a food source. Now, as far as the farm aerial tour goes here, the map aerial tour goes, anyone in having played any time on the original old stream farms for FS22, you're going to know a fair bit of where things are. But I do want to cover a couple details real quick. We do have our vehicle shop located right here. We have our dealer trigger inside the shop. New vehicles are going to spawn here around the back. As you can see, and we have a fairly large area for those vehicles to spawn. We do have our workshop trigger, our dealer trigger, located right here as well. It is indicated. We have multiple ways in and out of the dealership. One there and one over here. Both of them are fairly wide. Of course, we will have to navigate some narrow streets to get around. We have one of our two bakeries here right across from the vehicle dealer. This is going to be that sheep pasture that we talked about. And then the original map was bordered by this interstate or this main road, and we were not able to go beyond it. You can see now that we do have a fair bit of land above and beyond. So let's go ahead and go counterclockwise this time and start with going around to this new area. So make our way up here to the north. This is kind of still old school, old stream farms. We have our cow pasture and our buildable site. Now we will find areas where these power towers are close to the field or in the fields. And I've actually found two different types of power towers. One that does have collisions, I found over in the old part of the map. And one that doesn't have collisions, I found in the new part of the map. So flip a coin as to which type of power tower you may end up finding in your particular field that you may be working. Got a little bit of a village up here. And in this village, well, we have our farmhouse that we just took a look at. Here we have the agricultural fair. So we have a sell trigger for our wood. We have our dump point for pretty much everything and anything else that might be possibly going on here. We have the secondary bakery going on. So we have our interactive icon there. We have our dump point, our pallet point, and right beside that we have a dairy. So we have our dump point. We have our interactive icon. This is going to be the one that makes yogurt with sugar and chocolate. And then we have our pallet spawn point here inside. Make our way down the road, winding around. We have one of our multitude of train silos. It's going to be to store crops as well as to transfer crops to and from the train. So we have our train dump and fill point there. We have our silo dump and fill point here to put product onto a trailer. And I just want to check real quick and see. I do believe that maybe, just maybe, those are independent triggers. So let's just check the PDA super duper quickly. This is the GLW. I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know if this is a sell point or if this is a Silo point. This is definitely silo. This may be a cell trigger. I wish it had a sign. Here comes our train. And we're going to make our way back to the old side of the map. Here we have a fuel point. Train trigger. And then we have our flour mill located right here. And we have our animal dealer located here. And then we have a animal dealer bale trigger. Need to make our way around. We're going to skirt where we had the old map and the new to our sawmill located directly in front of us. So we have our wood chip point. We have our dump point for our logs, our wood cell trigger, a pallet spawn point. We have our carpentry shop with all of our triggers and associations there. We have another rent train trigger there. Behind us, we have then our stone and lime processor located right there with our lime fill pipe. Here we have a biomass heating plant cell point for logs and wood chips. I will come back to that. So I want to make my way down here to the chicken farm so you can see kind of how we got there. Now this new expanded land can be quite hilly. So I did see some fields on this expanded area that are relatively hilly. Here we have that chicken farm. And again, the buildable site that's across the road. We have another buildable site here at farmland ID 70. It is not the flattest farmland, but we can kind of make do with that. We have another train silo located right here. In fact, the train is quickly coming. So we have our dump and fill point there. And we have our dump point and fill point here if we're going to put things back onto a trailer. Coming down here into town, we have our biogas plant. We have two three-sided silage bunkers. We have our biogas plant there. Right across the street from that, we have our sugar mill. We have our horse area we've talked about. We have our farmer's market. And here we have our raisin or grape processor. We got kind of a nice old school building here at the street. And then when we come inside, we have a more modern factory. Across the street from that, we have our tailor. We have another dairy located right here. And then right over the hill, there we have our starting farm. Let's make our way back over here into kind of the expanded new area. We have a grain cell point located right here. With our dump point right through here. We have the cow pasture, sorry. Another buildable site, which we already took a look at. And that is pretty darn close to the entirety of this map. Now, with respect to our scoring metric, we're going to be giving the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such, because we have 15 productions built in. We have the line processor. We have the BGA. We have a sawmill. We have 2 dairies. We have 2 bakeries. We have the carpentry, a grain mill, a grape processor, a spinnery, a tailor, sugar, our fry factory, and a small vegetable garden. Let's come back here real quick and see, because I did not locate our fry factory. And anyone who wants to make French fries, well, they should know exactly where the fry production point is located. Well, it's located up here in the new expanded section. We just went right past it when we looked at the church. So we have our fry factory located up here, right north of field 99. We have our dump point, our interactive icon, and our pallet spawn point here around the back. With respect to the ability to sell all of our basic props, animal outputs, and productions, we're giving the map a full point there as well, because we do indeed have the ability to sell all of those wonderful things. We also have the ability to sell all of our premium and platinum expansion productions. As I mentioned earlier, with respect to the farms being customizable, we're going to take a 1/4 point off because my bonus farms of farmland ID 9 and 74 are not sellable at all. If you completely ignore those 2, then yeah, it's going to get a full point. Buildings where appropriate are indeed using the new texturing technique. Where we do have custom buildings, they are all using the new texturing technique, as well as all of the great ground textures and player and interactive areas being clearly marked. Yes, we're going to go ahead and give the map another full point there as well. So that's going to wrap this map up with a score of 4.75 out of 5. Where the only real place that we lost points were at the horse farm and what I'm calling the bonus farm, farmland ID 9, which is here in town. And you may decide, well, those really aren't farms because they don't have farmhouses. Silly. Well, if that's the stance you want to take, then fine. Then give the map a 5 because that would basically be where it would land. Because we have this area here, like I mentioned, that is not sellable. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are down in the comments below with respect to not only this expanded version of Old Stream Farms, but the original version as well. And would you like to see this map make its return once again in the annals of Farming Simulator with Farming Simulator 25? And until next time, happy farming.